printout of the news release from the Food and Drug Administration titled, FDA takes significant steps to protect Americans from dangers of tobacco through new regulation. Rule extending oversight to all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, allows agency to address public health concerns such as youth access to tobacco products. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll put it in the bucket, so you can go and look at it yourself. Today, this is May 5th, 2016. Today, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration finalized a rule extending its authority to all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, cigars, hookah tobacco, and pipe tobacco, among others. This historic rule helps implement the Bipartisan Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act of 2009, family smoking, and allows the FDA to improve public health and protect future generations from the dangers of tobacco use through a variety of steps, including restricting the sale of these tobacco products to minors nationwide. Because hookah tobacco, e-cigarettes, and cigars are not prohibited to minors, apparently. They're completely unregulated. So, quote, we have to do more. We have more to do, to help protect Americans from the dangers of tobacco and nicotine, especially our youth. As cigarette smoking among those under 18 has fallen, the use of other nicotine products, including e-cigarettes, has taken a drastic leap. All of this is creating a new generation of Americans who are at risk of addiction. Today's announcement is an important step in the fight for a tobacco-free generation. So that is the goal, is complete freedom from tobacco. It will help us catch up with changes in the marketplace, meaning e-cigarettes primarily, and hookahs. Put into place rules that protect our kids, who can argue with that, and give adults information they need to make informed decisions. And that's where having all the pipe tobacco tested at great expense. So, just to know where they're coming from. So it had bipartisan support, meaning Republicans and Democrats. And we know how that goes, where, it could have been tacked on to another bill for the budget or something like that, where everybody had to get on board or it wouldn't get authorized. So, there's shenanigans, political shenanigans that happen all the time. And of course, it undermines the whole political process, honestly. And there's subterfuges that we just aren't aware of most of the time. You would have to be almost a Washington insider to be truly aware of everything that's going on. So tobacco use is a significant public health threat. In fact, smoking, not cigarette smoking, but smoking, including pipes, including cigars, is the leading cause of preventable disease and death in the United States and is responsible for 480,000 deaths per year. Pipes, while there has been a significant decline in the use of traditional cigarettes among youth over the past decade, their use of other tobacco products continues to climb. I find this statistic coming up interesting. So, the Centers for Disease Control shows current e-cigarette use among high school students has skyrocketed from 1.5% in 2011 to 16% in 2015. And hookah use has risen significantly, but not a number, so they may not actually have a number for that. This next one, I can't hardly believe this. In 2015, 3 million middle and high school students were current e-cigarette users, okay, and data showed high school boys smoked cigars at about the same rate as cigarettes. Really? That trend is unknown to me. I just find that hard to believe. And of course, they're not quoting any studies here. But they're using it for justification. So, with the larger, the 30,000 foot altitude view being that, well, we're here to help. The FDA is here to ensure the public good, safe waters, and we'll get to that at the end. And a nationalized insurance falls right into that. I'm not opposed to that, actually, nationalized insurance. There are some things that, a society needs to cover for its citizens with equitability. But when we're all part of the risk pool, it becomes easier to justify controlling other things. Anyway. Okay. But that was the biggest statistic they listed that surprised me, was about the middle and high school students smoke cigars at about the same rate as cigarettes. Can you confirm that? I just never see it. Before today, there was no federal law prohibiting retailers from selling e-cigarettes, hookah products, hookah tobacco, or cigars to people under age 18, which is surprising. And, honest to God, there should be. So let's do that and be done with it. I think there would be no argument from anybody about that. So today's rule changes, which go into effect in 90 days, which is like August 8th, I guess. It's in August. Not allowing products to be sold to persons under the age of 18 years, in person or online. I'm on board. Requiring age verification by photo ID. I'm on board. Not allowing the selling of covered tobacco products in vending machines unless in an adult-only facility. I'm on board. And not allowing the distribution of free samples. That seems a bit of an overstep. I see where they're coming from, but that will prohibit all those free samples at the pipe shows. Today's rule also requires manufacturers. So I'm fine with 3 out of those 4 posits. Let's do this. Okay, I'm on board with that. But it also requires manufacturers of all newly regulated products to show that the products meet the applicable public health standards set forth in the law and receive marketing authorization from the FDA. So you cannot sell your product without it going through this vetting process from the FDA. Unless the product was on the market as of February 15, 2007, which is probably when e-cigarettes started making their appearance. The tobacco product review process gives the agency the ability to evaluate important factors such as ingredients, product design, and health risks, as well as their appeal to youth and non-users. If they would be specific and say cigarettes and e-cigarettes, okay, and put the law into a place that makes it a law to prohibit tobacco sales to those under 18, to minors. I suspect there are a lot of state laws already in place that do that. Now, how well enforced they are, so they may realize that enforcement is a real issue and that this is a way of cutting off at the source. So, for decades, the federal government and the public health community fought to protect people from the dangers of tobacco use. These efforts have saved at least 8 million lives in the last 50 years. So, today's actions will subject all manufacturers, importers, and or retailers of newly regulated tobacco products since 2009 to any applicable provisions, bringing them in line with other tobacco products the FDA has regulated under the Tobacco Control Act since 2009. So, bringing them in line with cigarettes. These requirements include registering manufacturing establishments and providing product listings to the FDA, reporting ingredients and harmful and potentially harmful constituents, requiring pre-market review and authorization of new tobacco products by the FDA, which is that expensive process that Tom at Yuli's Tobacco was talking about, placing health warnings on product packages and advertisements, which means we'd get the, like the Brits do, the charred lung on our tin of pipe tobacco. I can live with that. Not selling modified risk tobacco products, including those described as light, low, or mild, unless authorized by the FDA. Okay, I'm in with that. But boy, is it going to kill the tobacco business, because there is a small window where if you have a, what do they call it, premium cigar, which costs over $10 and is homemade, or handmade, you are exempt. But so we're allowing those with a lot of money to continue to smoke without being affected by this. I don't know. No. So this is basically the mission. The FDA, an agency within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, protects the public health by assuring the safety, effectiveness, and security of human and veterinary drugs, vaccines, and other biological products for human use and medical devices. The agency also is responsible for the safety and security of our nation's food supply, cosmetics, dietary supplements, products that give off electronic radiation, and for regulating tobacco products. And you can see how tobacco fits into that. I say yes, let us re-examine that statistic on cigar use by youth. But let's let's make the law say that no products to be sold to persons under the age of 18 years nationally. Requiring age verification by photo ID. Okay. Not allowing the selling of covered tobacco products in vending machines unless in an adult-only facility. I can see problems with that, but okay. And the free samples, I think, is an overstep. But we need to exempt. I'm all for labeling, but I agree with Tom at Yuli's that this is going to really squash pipe and cigar smoking. So I'm opposed to it, and I'm going to write a more specific letter referencing this document and outlining what I think are useful elements of it, but not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, we are adults. I really question that statistic about cigar use. Yes, it's possible that kids have tried a cigar, but wow, you can see how it would just be too much for kids. It's too much for me. So anyway, that's my latest take on this. I'll put it in the bucket, and you can read it for yourself. So what am I smoking? I'm smoking a BP Jum here. Always a favorite. And I'm smoking Cornell and Deal's most popular blend, they say, at the moment, which is an aromatic called Autumn Evening, which, as I'm sure you've heard, because everybody's talking about it, is a maple with just a little rum, but the beauty of it is that it is either all or mostly Virginia, and to me that's a big plus. I just do not like burleys generally, so this is good. I mean, it's, as a tobacco, it's okay, if you ask me. It isn't. It's very mild. Honestly, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. A lot of Virginia flavor. So, I've heard the room note is kind of like crusty pancakes. And I can see the flavor is in that area too, although not specifically. But it has that sort of mellow caramelness with a little roasty quality to it. But this would be a good one for non-aromatic smokers to smoke around the campfire with other people. Anytime you're around other people, probably would be pretty good. I have a maple and rum blend from Sutliff that I picked up because a friend of mine said, my dad used to smoke this rum and maple, and it just reminds me of him, and if you have a chance, pick some up and smoke it. So I did, and other people said, ooh, isn't that nice? So that has been kind of my go-to, but it's got a lot of burley in it. It's probably predominantly burley. So luckily it smokes pretty clean, so it smokes down to a dry ash and doesn't give you this big wet glompy mess in the bottom of your pipe at the end. And this has that potential too to Cornell and Deal blends tend to be fairly dry. I think I was reading that they're non-aromatics. They just use distilled water as a moistening agent. They don't use glycol or any gelatin mixtures. Here's where we get into the labeling, what is in there. But I like that. And so, as a result, Cornell and Deal non-aromatics tend to be drier, which I like. That. Unfortunately, most Cornell and Deal mixtures have some burley in them. They're I don't know, just big proponents of burley. So, but this isn't bad. Damned by faint praise. As a group smoked tobacco, it could be good. But still doesn't give the smoker a whole lot of flavor or interest, honestly. So, And that's always what I'm looking for. That's why I like those Balkan blends. You know, they actually have flavor. They have flavor. What a novel concept is that, you know? I was looking through the Pipes and Cigars catalog, the pornography catalog, in the bathroom. And sure enough, there was Frosty Mint. Jeff Gilbert had reviewed that and said, woo, and it'll really ghost your pipe. And I'm almost tempted to try a little bit of it at some point, but I hate to trash a pipe. I would want to use an old cob or something. But most aromatics I just taste nothing, you know? There's just nothing there. So this at least gives you a little bit of something. But still, it's not a non-aromatic smoking experience like a Balkan. And that it's their most popular tobacco says to me that either my taste buds are screwed up, which is quite possible, or that people don't really want a lot of flavor, which is also possible. Because I do not smoke for the nicotine. I'm such an irregular smoker, and it can be a long time between smokes. Unless I'm reading to y'all that if I was addicted to nicotine, I'd quit and then just collect pipes, maybe. But I don't feel like I am addicted, so. Hey, but I'm a smoker. It's like if you have a beer once or twice a week with buddies, you know, after work, you'll have a beer with them before you head home. Well, you're an alcoholic, you know, because you're drinking. You're a smoker. Thus, you're part of this risk pool, and we want a smoke-free society, you know. I disagree. But I also see where the insurance thing, the group risk pool with nationalized insurance, makes a case for that. So anyway, lunchtime smoke. I'm going to head back to work too. Write your letters, would you? Write those letters. Let your Congress people know and senators know that you're opposed to that. I'm gonna, because I'm part of local government and in some kind of different ways. I do believe that people are motivated by good intentions, and they want to do the right thing, and they want to listen to their constituency. And so we give them very little feedback most of the time, almost none, you know? I mean, we are a democracy on autopilot, and for the most part. And yeah, we get all riled up about the presidential election, but it's not where the stuff happens. So, giving them some meaningful feedback and a little background about yourself to personalize the letter, I think is